Hey guys, Dan here with this week's Connors review. Things are going kind of haywire with the coronavirus. TV shows are sort of being canceled if they were still in production, and a lot of things have just gone into sort of panic mode. So it's nice to actually sit down and watch a beloved show like the Connors, and we can talk about it that way. But in the meantime, I am going to try and post a video every single day of the Pennsylvania shutdown. This is where I am, and we haven't been like quarantined or anything, but I work from home full time, so I'm already here in the house 7 or 8 hours a day, like guaranteed. So now I'm spending even more time in the house. So I'm going to, catch up on some shows and movies and all of that, as well as bringing you the regular, Connors review, Masked Singer guesses. We've got a couple of Frasier Fridays we've already recorded. So I'm going to try and post something new every single day for you. But the moment at hand is for the Connors, so let's talk about tonight's episode. There's only a few left in the season, but luckily they were done filming as far as I know. So all 20 episodes should be ready to go here. And I think it's one a week here until the finale. I think towards the end of April. I think we're not going to have any more weeks off. I think it's going to be boom, boom, boom. Straight through. So let's get to it. Tonight's episode was Beards, Thrupples, and Robots. Again, the title would indicate there were sort of 3 A stories, but there really isn't, because Darlene's story, there's sort of 2 stories. The beard thing has to do with her because Ben shaves his beard, but also the robots has to do with her because she gets a job with Harris's, like, I forget what the name of the store is, but it's like a Target or Marshall's or whatever. And so that those are both, about her. And then the throuple part, well, we continue the story from the previous episode a couple weeks ago with Clark Gregg and Jennifer Grey, married in real life and married here on the Connors universe, and wanting a throuple with Jackie, which we learned about last time. So if people didn't know what that was when they watched a couple weeks ago, they know now, and if they missed a couple weeks ago, they explain it to Dan in this episode, so you can't miss it. So that's sort of where we're at here. So there was definitely an A story and a B story this week. The A story was basically Darlene and her financial crisis. Her and Ben are trying to get the new magazine up and running, but because it doesn't exist yet, Ben is finding it hard to attract advertisers to it, whereas in the meantime, Darlene decides to literally like beg Harris to get her a job at the store where she works, and at first Harris is like, no, that's not cool, don't want that. But, Darlene basically talks her into it, saying, look, I am desperate here, please help me. So she gets her a job, and then, as a result, she becomes Darlene's trainer. And so when Darlene is sort of goofing off, she's sort of goofing off and rude to the customers in the first time, and then the next time we see her, she's actually working on the layout for the magazine on her laptop in one of the dressing rooms. And that's when she ends up getting fired by Harris. So that's, pretty much the A story. And then the B story comes in with Jackie and the throuple deal, which Dan can't really wrap his head around, but, kind of goes with it anyway. And it makes for some good comedic fodder for him to take some pot shots at Jackie's love life in general about it. And that ends up sort of blowing up in everybody's face because Jackie's very nervous to even, do it because she's never been with a woman. And, everything she's read about throuples tells her that they're all going to be, going at it together. But it sort of blows up before that even happens because the Clark Gregg character, I forget the character names, but he kisses her while Jennifer Grey is in the kitchen getting a bottle of wine. She comes out and, gets kind of mad that, like, well, you didn't wait for me, we talked about this, and they end up splitting up afterwards. So Jackie never had to go through with it, but the idea was there. And, I don't know, it's kind of cool that Jackie at her age was even thinking about something like this. She's 60, I'm sure, in the show, just as she is in real life. I think she's probably 62 or 63 in real life. Looks amazing. But yeah, she's definitely, of that age, I would think. And, to even entertain something like this is really cool, kind of funny. And then let's get back to the A story, I guess. So before I get into some of the other aspects of the show, Harris, I am finding more enjoyable these last few weeks. Now, I did not have as much of a negative feeling about her as a lot of you guys did, as evidenced on your comments week after week. Get Harris off the show. Why is Harris still there? But the last few weeks, probably since the live episode with the election, where she had that really nice chat with Mark, and he basically called her out on her crap. I think things have been a little bit different. They've been playing her character a little bit differently, not as, I don't know, just wild, and not as, F you to the family. And, I mean, look, she fired her mother, but, it wasn't out of spite necessarily. It was out of, look, I'm your trainer, so if you do a bad job, it makes me look bad. Da 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 da. By the end of the episode, they were both fired anyway because the store robot took over everybody's job, which is kind of a funny gag, because I know when I go to the grocery store now, you've got that big giant robot that goes around like sort of sweeping things up, but it's got like the big googly eyes on it, so it's kind of creepy. I do always say hi to it though, like it's a real person. I don't know what my problem is, but anyhow, so that was sort of the the corker on that story, is that she gets fired as well. So it doesn't matter really what Darlene did or didn't do at the end of the day. But the whole Ben shaving his beard thing was interesting. He definitely looks completely different with it shaved, but I feel like, unless I'm misremembering, when he played the dad on The Real O'Neills a few years ago, I believe he was clean shaven then as well. He didn't adopt this more mountain man look until he appeared on the Connors, as far as I can remember. But we're used to now seeing him in this way. So everybody was sort of poking fun at how it looks and feels. And Jackie was very distraught because she sort of has some weird crush on Ben, which I don't know how I really feel about. It's like, it's Darlene's aunt hitting on her boyfriend. Like, it's just sort of weird, So I'm glad they haven't played too much with that yet in general, but so that was the beard portion of the title for the episode. But the whole magazine thing getting off the ground is interesting. I hope they keep with that story. By the end of the episode, they did have a person that wanted to advertise for several months after seeing a mock-up design of what the magazine might look like. So that's cool. I do hope that they move forward with that. I feel like it's going to be another sort of classic Connor family, attempting something that they're passionate about that will go a year or two and end up sort of failing, but at least they did it. Like Dan with the bike shop, the original Lamford lunchbox. So we'll see, where that goes. Lisa Goranson and John Goodman, just sort of ancillarily in this episode, as sort of one line here or there, a punchline usually, and both of them. It's funny, like, even though the A stories focus completely on Darlene, Ben, and Jackie, I definitely got the most laughs for the episode out of John Goodman and Lisa Goranson, for sure. Although Harris, had a few good lines as well. I guess I should get back to that. So yeah, I mean, they're making Harris's character a little bit more likable these days, I think. So maybe it wasn't just you guys, in the comments. Maybe it was more of a feedback thing that either the network was giving them, or maybe just internet chatter or whatever was saying, like, why is Harris so unlikable, and get rid of her. In my opinion, I think they've made her a more well-rounded character. I didn't necessarily think she was as awful as you guys seemed to, but at the same time, I mean, she certainly wasn't my favorite character on the show. I understood a lot what she was doing. although at the same time it was all very Becky, running away at age 17, in this case to live with her friend Odessa, but in Becky's case, to move in with Mark, her old boyfriend Mark, not her brother on the show now. But yeah, so I never sort of got that negative feeling about it, and I think that might be due to some goodwill from enjoying her character on Shameless. But either way, I thought she was, pretty realistic. I mean, sometimes this is what happens when kids get to that age and they get real rebellious and, that kind of thing. But, maybe she's being presented in a more likable way now. I do like that Mark called her out a few weeks ago. I think she's sort of softened her FU type attitude towards the family, in that way. And, look, she still comes over to do laundry. She still, which is, to me, I don't know how purposeful this is, but to me it's a great throwback to Aunt Jackie back in the first few seasons of Roseanne. The only way she would, come over is to do laundry or eat or whatever, leading to some tense moments between her and Dan. I remember, one of his great lines, breakfast, it is the most important mooch of the day. So, I don't know how purposeful that is from the writers and the creators, but I think it's interesting to have Harris sort of now taking on that Aunt Jackie role from way back in the day. So let's talk about who was not present in the episode. And DJ and Mary, don't miss them, never miss them. I sound like a broken record, but they haven't been on the show. I mean, they were on the live episode, but other than that, DJ hasn't been on the show in like 4 or 5 episodes other than the live show. And Mary, I think, was on only one of them. I think it's time, producers of the Conners, get rid of these characters. I understand DJ, was part of the original cast, except for the pilot episode. But, it is time now. Cut your losses. He's a useless character. You've given him nothing to do. And I don't miss him when he's not around. So, and I sense I'm not alone in that. So, have him be a more recurring character. Send him off with his wife Gina, who's in the military. Have Mary live with them. And, let that be that. Now, Mark wasn't in this episode either, and that always is kind of a bummer. I think his character is great. But, at the end of the day, look, this was an even shorter episode than normal. It was only 20.5 minutes. So, no room for Mark. And sometimes I do think that the shows are a little too padded, Now, obviously, they had some guest stars here, Clark Gregg and Jennifer Grey specifically, and other ones that I'll tell you about in a second. But, I do miss Mark. You could put him in for a line or two, but at the same time, it's okay if he's not there either. He's not the focal point of too many episodes, although he was in the live episode, which was very, very cool, and I thought he did a great job in there. But with everything going on in this episode, look, Ben is already not really a full-time cast member. J.R. Ferguson is the actor's name. He's not like part of the opening credits or anything. However, he's certainly been in this season way more than DJ or Mary. And I like that because I love his character. And I like his interaction with Darlene, but also Mark and Harris. Trying to be very sensitive to certainly Mark's needs. Harris, I think, is grown up enough that he realizes, okay, look, I'm never going to be like her father, so I'll just, let Darlene handle her. But Mark, is at a very formative age, and I think Ben is walking this line of like, okay, I know I'm not your father, but, I am here for you, buddy, da-da-da-da-da. And so I think there's been some nice moments with the two of them. But again, he's in the show way more than DJ is, so I don't know what they're thinking there, but I enjoy his character a lot more than I've enjoyed DJ or Mary or Gina, really, for the entire run of the reboot, both Roseanne and the Conners. So, that's my piece on that. But on to the other guest stars of the episode, Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. Now, I mentioned in my TV news and reviews video like 3 or 4 days ago that they would be playing themselves in the next episode, because that is what the news article I read told me. I think it was from Deadline or Variety or something, but The truth was, they really were not. They were two characters. It was in the tag scene over the credits. They were just two people that came to the restaurant essentially looking for a throuple with Jackie because, the joke was word had gotten around and Becky was the one spreading it all over town. But, I think anybody in that, of those characters would recognize Ozzy and Sharon Osbourne. Like Roseanne did when Luke and Laura were there in the original run, from General Hospital. Hey, it's Luke and Laura, like, oh my God. So they certainly weren't playing themselves. So I don't know why that article said that, but they're just playing two, random strangers or whatever. And they both, were looking for a throuple either with Jackie or with Darlene, who Ozzy called the boy, which I thought was very funny. I thought they did a good job. It was certainly, stunt casting, obviously. But what I thought was nice about it is it was sort of a throwback to some of the tag scenes from the original Roseanne, where it was like, you take the episode is very, realistic and real world specific and all that kind of stuff. And then sometimes the tag scenes would be, but other times the tag scenes would be just totally out in left field and, sort of just kind of a throwaway for a laugh. A couple of the ones that stand out to me is when Laurie Metcalf played Marcia Clark from the OJ trial, and she came out of the TV to talk to Roseanne about, the trial. That was very funny. Also, when Bev, Roseanne and Jackie's mom, came out at the end of the episode in her, S&M leather outfit, that was funny. And then another one with Bev where she's with, what was Jackie's husband's name? I want to say Ned, but that's not right. Boy, I can't. I'm having a brain fart here. But the guy she married, and Bev drops her voice when they're on the couch together. Oh, this is my. I couldn't put that annoying voice on any longer. Estelle Parsons is so great. Really love her. But anyway, so it harkened to me back to some of those where it was just this ridiculous. Ending, I think it would be more ridiculous if Ozzy and Sharon were playing themselves. So, maybe it is sort of real worldy in the Connors universe in Lanford, because obviously they didn't know who these people were. They weren't Ozzy and Sharon. So, but I thought that was kind of funny. So overall, I thought this was a pretty good episode. I definitely got some laughs out of it. I still think it's more or less the funniest show on television. I think a lot of that comes from us knowing the characters so well, but I thought this was a good one. I don't know how much I love the whole throuple idea in general. I like that she's sort of trying new things, and obviously, love one-on-one has not really been in Jackie's favor. Fred, by the way, is the Jackie husband. I was thinking Ned for some reason, but it rhymes with Fred, so there you go. Just, one of those things when you have a brain fart, you're like, you got to think of it or it's going to kill you. The throuple thing, I'm glad they sort of wrapped it up in 2 episodes. I'm glad it wasn't like a huge half-season arc or whatever. But I thought the episode was pretty enjoyable. I'm going to leave it with a B+. So that is it for this episode. We will be back, God willing, next week. And every week after for all 20 episodes here of the season. Like I said, I believe they've all been filled. Most shows have been shut down for production due to coronavirus, but I know CBS was done with all but one of their sitcoms, which leads me to believe, ABC was probably done with a lot of their sitcoms as well. Because I didn't hear anything about production halting on Blackish or Schooled or any of that. So maybe they are all finished their seasons already, which would be nice, so that way we get a full season of it. But as far as I know, it's going to be every single Tuesday now till the end of the season, so that will be nice. I will be back tomorrow with a Masked Singer guest video. Friday, we're going to have a Frasier Friday up. Thursday, I'm going to try to get my weekly TV reviews up for you, a day or two early. But like I said, during the whole pandemic shut-in sort of thing, I'm going to try and bring you guys at least one video every single day reviewing something, an old movie maybe, going back to some old shows, perhaps, maybe even some music. I mean, I've got a lot of CDs in this basement as well, not just the movie wall behind me. So anyway, please comment below. I always love hearing from you guys. And by the way, I'm almost at 400 subscribers. So if you know somebody that might like the channel that hasn't subscribed yet, just let them know about it. You know, link me to it or something, or link me to them, I should say. And you know, maybe they'll subscribe. I would love to hit 400 subscribers very soon. I'm up to 390 right now. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you back here next time. Bye.